recreational drugs have always been amongst the most profitable products on the planet, hands down. And the reason for that is pretty simple. These things give you a buzz, which makes most naturally curious people kind of want to try them. And they get you addicted, which means after you try them, you have to continue to buy them again and again and again, oftentimes for the rest of your life, which is a pretty big problem for us. But that's an awesome thing for the people selling recreational drugs, because that means that it guarantees them a ton of money over time. And as it turns out, that money yields them power. Power to influence culture, dominate commerce, and control the government officials who might otherwise try to restrict them. So you kind of have to admit, if you don't mind ruining people's lives and crippling a significant portion of society in the process while you get rich, it's kind of an understandable gig, right? I get why people do it. Now, today, the only thing that ever gets in the way of drug company profits is when society temporarily wakes up. Every so often, there'll be a high-profile death, or maybe a new record number of deaths, or some other significant news item that kind of shocks the public into paying attention for just a minute. But this is always temporary, because the rich and powerful drug companies maintain strict control over those politicians, regulatory bodies, and cultural influencers of the day. So when they decide that it's time, they kind of just turn the channel, and people obey. These companies, they play the long game, and so far, guys, they're undefeated. It's been this way for over 100 years. So let's talk about nicotine alone for just a second. In 1910, the nicotine companies got some really bad news. Turns out their products cause cancer. But that wasn't bad news for tobacco users. You want to know why? Not because it wasn't true, but because those tobacco users never found out. The tobacco sellers instantly used their power and resources to make sure that no one in the general public heard that news. And it worked. For the next 25 years, it remained a big secret, and Big Tobacco continued to promote their products using athletes and doctors, even Santa Claus, to convince people that nicotine was fun, cool, and healthy. It wasn't. The nicotine companies were lying, and all the while, innocent people were dying. That's still happening today. In fact, they're far better at it today than they've ever been, and I'm gonna prove it to you. But the sad fact is, guys, some of you are about to realize that either you or someone you love is in a lot of danger.